You know, AI is here, let's just face it. And AI makes our lives so much more efficient. But at the end of the day, this is an emotional process.
I think there's two components of it. One is a great educator doesn't have an agenda behind it. And two, a good educator is unbiased. That means they're presenting both things.
Yeah. People that own homes, they're 40 times higher from a net worth standpoint than somebody that's a renter. I'm Kelly Zitlow. Welcome to the Level Up LO podcast.
And I'm Jay Kroll, and we're here to elevate your life and business.
All right, Jay, today we're going to talk what?
Well, I think one of the topics that we've been thinking about as the market is evolving, that's top of mind for loan officers, is how are we evolving with the consumer behaviors that are changing?
Yeah. So I think a couple of different things on this. And one, I'm fired up, you guys, because technology is changing consumer behavior. So I think from a loan officer standpoint, we need to realize that and embrace it as opposed to being maybe afraid of it, and realizing that there's still a need and there's still a space for strategic thought and strategic offerings that we as humans can do. You know, AI is here, let's just face it. And AI makes our lives so much more efficient. But at the end of the day, this is an emotional process. And so being able to embrace the part of the system that people really need from us, I just want to set the story straight that it's a balance between the high-tech and high-touch world, which I know you and I have talked about for years. So I really want to encourage loan officers to be familiar with what's taking place in the technology space. And on that note, I mean, from a consumer behavior standpoint, I know you've seen it, we've seen it, but with a younger buying population, and honestly, I'm seeing it going to older age demographics as well. People want to text. Yeah. They don't necessarily want to talk to us initially. You know, so how we're approaching the conversation is a little bit different than it was a couple of years ago. What are you seeing?
Well, I would say I was curious what you see as a hurdle in that space, but I think that we're in a season where clickbait media is very prevalent, and there's a lot of voices and noise out there. And my, knowledge of what gets attraction is kind of having things that are kind of out there, like never pay points.
Yeah.
And like that's a kind of a silly statement, right? Or renting's better than buying, like these absolutes. And so only get a 15-year fixed rate. Never, if you can't buy it with a 15-year, you shouldn't buy a home.
Or if you can't do 20% down, you shouldn't buy.
Those are all things that are out there,
myths,
right? And there's a lot of that stuff that's out there.
Yes.
And I think because of the volume of content that is out that consumers get, from social media and the media in general, it's hard to know what's true and what's not and what's real and how do we help people. And so I think, one thing we've talked about is just the difference between somebody's net worth that owns a home that doesn't own a home.
Yep.
And it's staggering.
It is.
So I think to me, the key is how are we, demystifying homeownership and debunking some of the stuff that's out there. And I think where you shine is education. So tell us about how you've been able to utilize your platform to educate people.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a funny story. You may know this about me, or maybe you don't, but early on in my career, I really struggled with talking to groups. And so, but I love the strategic part of just the home loan process and talking to people and finding out their wants and needs and being able to take a home loan and help them achieve those needs. And so education has just been part of my journey for 30 years. And so what I did was I figured, gosh, if I really struggled talking to real estate agents about, let's say, prospecting or differentiating myself, I leaned heavy into education. So when I was talking to real estate agents, I was talking about stories. I was talking about real life strategies that can help get their buyers into homes. And that was a big differentiator for me. So all along the way, education has really been the key. And then I got into video, and I was able to now not just educate 1-to-1 or 1-to-5, I was able to educate 1-to-many. And I do think that there's a huge opportunity, and video's not for everybody. It's okay, whether that's blog, whatever it is, whatever medium it is, you have to be out there because information is so accessible today. It's our responsibility to ensure that people are getting the right information and we debunk myths. Everything that we just said, these are all myths. And somebody out there is going on ChatGPT or Google or whatever else, and they're saying, oh, I can't buy a house because I don't have a down payment. Well, that's not the truth.
That's right.
So I think, again, we've got to get the message out. We have to be very strategic in bringing education to not only consumers, but to our referral partners. And that would be, insurance agents and financial planners, as well as the real estate community and home builders. They all need you. And I think it's a really an important time to be able to separate ourselves from what technology is leading the consumer to believe.
And I think when I think about education, to me, I think there's two components of it. One is a great educator doesn't have an agenda behind it. And two, a good educator is unbiased. That means they're presenting both things. And so the way we're able to deliver on some of that is to operate with intrinsic heart and operate through your core values, like living in abundance and genuinely caring for people and making sure that you are taking the time to meet people where they're at. And maybe that's through a webinar, maybe that's through a video, maybe that's through just the standard one-on-one consultations. And everybody that hasn't bought a house, when we do a consultation, we want to treat it like a mini first-time homebuyer class. And and it's like, how much time do you need? It's not like you have 30 minutes with me. And so those are some thoughts that when I think about it, is making sure that we're giving a holistic approach and covering all the pieces and helping people see the numbers financially. Because for me, when we bought our first house, Jen was like, we need to buy and we shouldn't be throwing money down the drain with rent. I was like, we can't rent. But when the loan consultant showed me the numbers, I was like, oh, we have that down payment and I can afford that. Let's do it. And it was a total game changer for me.
And you commented on this early on, but you guys can just Google or go to ChatGPT to get the stats. But roughly, those that own homes, so people that own homes, they're 40 times higher from a net worth standpoint than somebody that's a renter. I mean, that in itself, that one stat, like, we got to screen this from the rooftops of it just, and maybe people aren't ready today, but have the conversation, be able to educate what this is about and help them get there. That's what's still exciting to me.
It's sad to me when I see the headlines, which are the first time home buyers are the oldest age that we've ever experienced.
38.
That's the average age right now.
Average age for first-time home buyers is the highest and the oldest. It's ever
And if
been.
you think about it, like, I bought my first house when I was 22. So that's a 16 years of owning homes. And just apart from income, just wealth creation, tax deduction, the benefits of home ownership, not to mention all the emotional joy of being able to, own something with my wife.
And your family.
Well, sure.
Well, I appreciate you always, Jay, and appreciate your insights. I hope that this has given you some additional thoughts about how you can build your business. And if there's any takeaway, it's debunk myths, get the word out, educate from a place of a servant heart. And not everybody's ready in the moment, but the more conversations we can have, we can get them ready at some point.
And if there's, myths out there that you're thinking about wanting to debunk, shoot it to us and we can riff on that with you. And maybe that's a follow-up episode. We'd love to hear from you and address any questions or ideas that would be helpful for your journey.
Absolutely. If you found value in this, please subscribe, like, comment, please comment. We want to hear from you. And again, we're accessible. Just, reach out if there's anything on your mind that we can help you with.